Good evening. Welcome to the Dugout. We are continuing with the build-up to the IPL, and just as we did Kolkata Knight Riders yesterday, today it's the turn of Mumbai Indians. Who decided that? Shivam did.
Karta dharta.
Shivam, our producer, said MI means MI.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, you know.
Why?
There is new team.
Huh?
There is new team.
When did that happen?
He's left LSG.
He left LSG for Mumbai Indians.
No way.
No,
Ask him.
exactly.
Ask him.
Shivam?
At this time I'm neutral and I want
Neutral.
What?
Mumbai will win this.
No, he's a Hardik fan.
I know he's a
Yeah,
Hardik fan,
but-
that's why.
I thought he would be true to his mitti, yaar.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Shivam, players will come and go. The mitti remains
And now
the same.
the Mitti guy has come to his team also.
Which one?
He's the biggest fan of which bowler?
Shami. He's from UP, you know. I know people always confuse him
He's
with
now come
Kolkata.
to his team and yet he's left his team.
Shivam, yaar. You shouldn't have left your mitti.
He's
like
getting
that.
too inspired by Siddharth Vishwanathan,
Next thing we know, he'll be also a guy on Monday.
who becomes neutral just for the heck of it. And
So then
he's also saying,
he'll be wearing yellow.
no, he's being MI fan because he's a Hardik fan. That's
And what
okay.
will happen once Hardik's not there, which could be
That's
2 years
okay.
later, 3
A
years
lot
later?
of people change their teams if the
I
player-
really
never
never
liked
got
that
that, get that logic.
You
Never
may not
ever
get it,
get
but
that.
a lot of people do. I'm just telling you.
Very fickle then. And not, I know I'm not the one over here to comment on fan behavior much.
No, but
But this is not how I look at true
Fandom.
fandom.
Doesn't
That's not
matter.
how it's
I'm doing
supposed
it
to
in F1. I never liked Ferrari, but now Hamilton is there, so I'm backing Ferrari. Just
I
because
don't.
Hamilton's there. I've never been a Ferrari supporter. In fact, I used to be a McLaren supporter. Time where I used to hate the Ferraris, the Hakkinen Schumacher era. But now, because Hamilton's gone there, so
I stuck to my team, yielding the results for that. Mercedes are
they're
performing
doing
very
very well.
1 and 2 they finished, na?
1 and 2 in both races.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening in the... By the way, yes, we are late again. We're late because, I tell them, we need to warm up before the show. And I tell them then come well in advance. So we have warmed up, we've discussed. But they'll come 5 minutes before. Then by the time we finish warm up, it'll be 10 minutes by the time the show starts.
Yeah.
So yesterday was my fault, today it's their fault. Because the warm up is needed. Otherwise, just cold discussion.
Drab,
And there's not, certain things. See, we figured out one thing which we don't have because of the warm up, which will now be worked on. So, anyway, what's happening in the.
Cricket jagat.
In the sports jagat. Sunny Ji has actually spoken out, right?
Yeah, Sunny
Against the signing of Abrar Ahmed by Sunrisers Leeds. What is it you have to say, Harshit? You were working on that story.
Yeah, so again, very. He's
For
been
2 days you've been working, it's 2-day old. And sometimes you give news 13 days in advance. And sometimes you work on story 2 days later.
just averaging things out.
Evening things out.
And then he says, I didn't know it's a story. I was like,
Our family members got to know about it 2 weeks.
front page today, yaar. Front
2 weeks
page.
back, they've known all these guys.
Arre,
The
but
RCB will
how
get 5
can they
matches.
know that they'll get a green chair when the committee was formed this week? Friday it was formed.
their
Monday they visited.
President had already said.
Arre, they had said we are confident it will happen, and from our point it's go ahead. But then they only formed the committee, which was formed on Friday. Monday they had to visit, and Monday evening only they gave the final stamp of approval.
Final chit.
Yeah.
13 days back, you have told.
They knew 5 matches they'll get, 2 matches they'll
So
have to play.
tell me, 13 days back, if it was assumed that Rahane is a captain, if today KKR announced Rinku as captain, or for example, Rahane, they would have said so many days there was speculation he's going to be, but today they've sent an official announcement, it will be news, na? Officially, the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming back to, yes, what Sunny Ji is saying.
Sunny ji is saying again very
2 days ago he wrote in a column.
the usual column that he writes from
Right.
time to time. Yeah, in that he's
Not time to time, he usually writes it. It's a usual column.
in his usual column. So in that he says that so he's talked about how money circulation works, and he said if there is an owner, be it an Indian owner or a subsidiary of an Indian owner, then he or she is directly responsible then for Indian casualties, because you may be paying the money to a player, but that player pays tax in his home country, and indirectly you're responsible, you're culpable for Indian casualties, because the government across the border uses that money to then get weapons which are used against Indian lives. That's what he said.
Okay, so I just want to know two things. One, the percentage of money that goes, if let's say if I was to take his argument, the percentage of money that goes via tax, because firstly it's being paid to an individual, and then he'll pay via tax, which will be whatever amount, okay, crore and a half, whatever that amount goes through tax to the Pak government. How much money does Pakistan earn from ICC? At least 100 times, 200 times, 500 times that much money that an individual is getting.
Way more.
Yeah, but where does that money come to Pakistan to get those, millions of dollars that they get? 6% of ICC's revenue that they get yearly.
$35 million.
Yeah, 80% of it comes from India. Not directly, indirectly, comes from India, goes to the coffers of ICC, ICC distributes it, and millions of dollars are given to Pakistan.
Correct.
Cricket board, that also via tax comes to the Pakistan government, right? So then by that logic, there should be no India-Pakistan match in the ICC, right? Or even if it is there, then it should be boycotted. There should be no television broadcast of that India-Pakistan match. There should be no commentary stints. Commentators should say no, because you are adding to the economy. I'm just going by that law, and you are adding to it in a much greater manner than that payment going. Okay, that's fine. Please tell me the other way. I'm just looking at it, and I'm not disputing the point that Mr. Gavaskar is making, but I'm just saying, if that is the road that we take, then you have to look at other areas, other avenues, and you can't say that there is a flooding that's happening, but I will just close the nalas coming out from the houses, but the river will continue to flow here. I'll have to stop the river first, to ensure there is no flooding, and then look at the small little streams that comes out of localities and things like that. That will be second. Now you are saying stop this stream, we want to stop the flooding, but the big river will go. So firstly that, secondly, and you tell me, since you do general news as well, you should know how much of the money or profits are made within Pakistan because of trade with India?
Last I checked, that number was around 10 billion.
Billion.
Yes. 10 billion worth of
But
trade.
people,
I'm talking about textiles, technology, handicrafts, and it's happening through third party countries.
that's what I was saying. People will say, but no, there's no direct trade. There is direct trade, but whatever it was, it's come down to 10% of that. So there has been a curtailment there.
Yeah.
But you're still saying there is a lot of trade happening.
Yes.
So how is that happening?
It's happening through third party countries. You may not be.
So
doing
maybe
it.
you could be an India or a Pakistan firm, but set up an office in Dubai
Correct.
or XYZ.
Yeah.
So it routes via those places.
At the moment, those countries are either in the western part of Asia. You're talking about the other side. Singapore has emerged as another hub.
China,
Yeah.
Singapore. So China, Singapore.
Yeah, so those avenues have also popped up on the other side of the peninsula, which has now become the third party region, so to say, or where hubs have been established, where this exchange of goods and services is taking place between India and Pakistan.
Okay, so
Yeah.
10, what did you say?
10 billion.
10 billion is being traded also, huh? Which of course a lot of it profit is being made by India, a lot of profit is being made by Pakistan as well, right? So should you not, that's what I'm saying, should you not go to the core of the problem? If the problem is that Indian money is funding Pakistan government, which is funding terrorism. If that is the logic, I'll buy that, and there is valid point in that. But then you have to stem the flow where it is the highest. You have to stop the river that is contributing to that flood, not little tiny streams coming out from here and there. So
you basically need to shut the dams as opposed to the drains.
exactly.
And the dam is still flowing.
Both in ICC as well as.
Yeah, and I said it the other day as well. This one signing is not going to make that bigger difference. Again, depends on how you are seeing this, but if this is how you are going to be looking at things, that this is the money that goes to the government, there are other avenues through which the government is anyway getting a lot more money. The signing of one player doesn't change it. If I'm just as a corporate entity, if I'm looking at getting the best outfit there to be able to get me the best revenue, to be able to get me the best commercial results as well, so the results that suit me and my business plan, then I'm going to go for it. Simple as that. And that's not how teams are made. If I'm sidelining players,
No, we had explained. I think there is. Okay, they went with cricketing logic, which they've explained, and then there is also the marketing logic, which I said Leeds has a lot of Pakistani population, so we're trying to reach out. So the business sense for that team I can understand, but there is somewhere a moral responsibility as well, you being team owners, to try and avoid. And as I said, if I was a team owner, I may have still picked up a Pakistani player, but it wouldn't have been Abrar, primarily because of his anti-India tweets in the past. I would have avoided him because that just adds on to. Because this I don't think.
I think holds water to a very small extent, because I'll tell you why. It then depends. Where is it that you're willing to draw the line? You cannot then be sharing the commentary box with people who diss India left, right, and center.
I agree.
You cannot then be engaging with those people who abuse India left, right, and center whenever there is a debate.
Agree.
And every 6 months, then your equation cannot be changing. Then you need to have a stern this thing about it.
That's what I'm saying. Have a fixed policy.
Exactly.
You can't pick and choose. Yeah, for this we are okay. For now, that India-Pakistan game we need, because so much money has been paid to broadcasters. So even though Pakistan is asking that we don't want to play, you have found a way that they play by giving Bangladesh lollipops. You can't have. Then you should be same sort of logic should continue.
I mean, let's be fair. If we could play them a few months after Sindhu, in 3 games in an Asia Cup, no less. That in itself tells you that anyone crying about the patriotic angle now either turned a blind eye then, because whilst there were calls for boycott, I remember they died down after the first match. A. B. 3 matches happened and everyone was only focused on the cricket. The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, it's also there in our YouTube analytics. I remember the numbers we were raking in. Everyone enjoyed the drama. If you say you didn't, you're a liar. Simple.
No, they. I think they were very. I don't know if I told you. I was speaking to a few market analysts, and they told me that the viewership for Asia Cup was bumper.
Exactly.
Bumper, but a lot of it wasn't advertised. Usually, you've seen broadcasters and people come out with advertising that look how much numbers we racked up, this and that, because that helps their business. You rake in more advertising and so on and so forth. But this time they didn't, because knowing fully well that they will face a backlash if they kept advertising that India-Pakistan was still selling. But apparently, what I found out from market insiders, people who work in this field, which collate data, that the viewership was bumper viewership. Just that it wasn't advertised much.
Yeah.
So the boycotts didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Come the final, Shane, we were here on the stream. I remember that day when the whole trophy drama was happening. And we saw how those numbers skyrocketed. Those numbers skyrocketed like anything. So, and those were 3 consecutive Sundays. 7, 14 or whatever. 14, 21 and 28. And we saw how those numbers kept improving match after match, because that sense of revenge, that sense of, rubbing their nose into the ground. The match was all about all of that. And let's not forget, it was a proper tamasha being made. You had people who have very little to do with sport also, then they were tweeting about it on social media and all. This was for everyone. Behti Ganga mein haath dhone wala hisab it was. The cricketers were doing what they were asked to do. If they were given an option to backtrack, perhaps if there was ever a referendum that way in the Indian dressing room, whether they wanted to face up to an opposition or not, that's a different story altogether then. But they did whatever they were asked to do, and it's everyone else who benefited from the quote-unquote tamasha.
It's the same thing which people were talking about. Oh, how can you have Mustafizur play an IPL? Mustafizur playing an IPL is a problem. Selling diesel at 51 rupees a litre is not. Which you've been doing from an agreement that stems since 2017. You have so much of a problem with Bangladesh, then cut off that agreement. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Please see how that goes.
See, my thing is either don't mix politics with sport. So say, okay, we'll deal with political issues the way we have to. Let sport be sport. Either be that. Or I'm okay if you're mixing politics with sport, by which then you say, okay, everything will be seen as an extension of what is right for the country.
Correct.
And then everywhere it will be looked at. And then if you go down that road, I'm absolutely fine. Go down that road. I don't think anything is above the country. So if you believe in that, go down. But then be ready to sacrifice sports. Be ready to sacrifice. Then say, I don't want to play.
Then
Even
you'll
if it
become
means we're not
pariahs.
part of the World Cup, we don't want to be, we lose this money, fine. Then you got to stick to that. You cannot, okay, this is thoda sa we are going to benefit, let's go with this. Okay, one Mustafizur you can remove without anything, okay, let it go. But the other places we can't. India-Pakistan match is bigger. So, okay, then we will give Bangladesh some more matches.
And we'll send ICC members to Pakistan to negotiate and tell them please come for the World Cup.
All that just doesn't add
Nonsense.
up. Yeah, that does. Okay, we'll dive into our focus of IPL, but before that, because we that's what we did yesterday as well. Take all the questions that we have basis the topic at hand, so that then we know we're done with any other query that you may have had outside of Mumbai Indians. Once we're done with that, then we'll dive into what.
The SWOT analysis.
Yeah. Layman's term, yeah. Don't do this MBA type jargon you throw at everyone. SWOT.
AJ17 AJ says day 2 of latest
Thank you.
and then sports today.
Thank
Oh,
you,
wow.
AJ.
AJ has been the first
No.
one, by the way, to put in the comment.
And
on both
AJ can
days.
keep coming every day. and
He's
doing it.
on time.
But let AJ know that it'll be tough to change us. So.
With a dog's tail proverbial.
Steve Ticcolo, as always.
He
is
will make a
also
comment
point.
on my
Always on point.
on my lifestyle. He's hell bent on making me feel guilty.
Depreciating assets.
Right now, the stock market, blood bath. You really don't know where the bottom is right now.
Yeah.
Blood bath.
If you are really brave as an investor, now is the time.
Now
If
is
you're
the
not,
time, but then
You don't know what the bottoming out is. That's the
exactly.
thing.
Now, there is no time because you don't know. You may
It could
invest
really
now
sink.
and then realize that
Don't
you've
know
lost
how deep the ocean is.
50% loss in few days, which you could have waited a few more days and then invested or whatever. So there's nobody. Yeah, actually, nobody.
I've
knows.
deleted those apps that make me feel bad in the morning. Nothing doing.
Steve Ticcolo says, Nick sir, are you wearing Adidas, Beradas? Are these new version or the old 2010 versions? If older one, really interested to know from where you got them. So these are newer versions and I got them from Kuala Lumpur.
They're the Baradas, as he says?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Not
So-
to be confused with Omar Berada.
Yeah.
now can we go to...
Yeah, I think this has to do with what we talked about yesterday. Mir Singh
Yeah.
says that Nikhil sir, Ronaldinho from Brazil, I think is in prime was equal to Messi because in star-studded Brazil team he used to stand out. He is a magician.
No, I agree. Fair point. But with Ronaldinho, the problem was his peak lasted and then
Correct.
Tapered.
But there was another issue, and I am a huge Ronaldinho fan. In fact, I credit him for Barcelona's turnaround, being a Barca fan, so I have no reason. But then again, I have to be very objective in my analysis. So I've picked someone from an anti-team in Zidane only because of looking at it objectively. By the same yardstick, it's not fair to say that he was the only star. That Brazilian team had a bigger star. Again, someone who played briefly for my club, but mostly for a club against me, was Ronaldo,
The real Ronaldo.
Original Ronaldo. And in his prime, he was also just something else, just absolutely something else. So again, yes,
also Rivaldo. How can
Rivaldo
you
as
put
well,
Rivaldo?
yes, in terms of goal scoring. But see, Rivaldo for Brazil does not hold the same amount of respect that original Ronaldo got.
True, but
because he
Rivaldo
the
was
star.
also a that level, top level player.
No, he 100% was. For me, Rivaldo is even bigger because again, he was at one point in Barcelona the sole guy who kept the club alive.
Until Louis
Yeah.
Van Gaal went and irritated him.
Correct, but so for me personally, but I'm just saying I have to look at it objectively. He was never as big as the original Ronaldo, and that's the fact. Even though he would score, I remember that World Cup where they were competing and they would go, one would score and he would be ahead in that Golden Boot race, and the
2002
other,
that was.
yeah, and then they kept competing, and Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, eventually won it. So it's a close competition, I agree. But Ronaldo was Ronaldo, like he was the star of that generation, and boy. In fact, his peak also didn't last very long, though lasted much longer in that sense when we are looking at Ronaldinho. And Ronaldinho's greatest achievements also came in club football. But when Ronaldo also had the original Ronaldo had the knee operation, after that he was never the same.
One knee operation, and then when his knee blew out when he came back, it was
Yeah.
when he was at Inter Milan.
Ah,
That was it.
correct. So he never then put on weight. It was never,
Yeah.
the player that he was.
One thing all of them know how to do though is live life, Brazilian style.
That's fine.
Not judging. I think it's great.
Yeah. I mean, Maradona did that.
No, Maradona went to the other extreme.
Romario did that. Romario was famous for that.
Hmm.
Yes, Ashish Chandelier.
Says, MI 2026 versus India 2026 match. Who's winning the match, even with same personnel? And winning streak in 2 ICC tougher or winning IPL without dropping any match? No team has ever won an IPL without dropping a match. So I'd say that's definitely
that
tougher.
not happen because
I don't think it's possible.
14, 16 matches you've got to win, yeah.
Exactly. No, could be 17 also. No, 16.
16 is
16 matches.
But he's saying between MI 26 and India 26.
Who's winning? Even with the
Of
same
course
person.
India.
Yeah.
MI 26.
Yeah.
MI 26 didn't win the IPL.
No, but MI 26 is the one of
No,
this
the
year.
one that
but
we
there
are
3,
about
4,
to
5
assemble.
is India.
No, but I'm saying MI 25 and 26 is the same. They didn't do anything in the auction.
India 26.
They, see, MI that
2020.
19
20 and 20. 20 I think were the best.
1920, yeah. That was a phenomenal team.
Now, funnily enough, both of these teams, then if you're competing, will have Ishan Kishan. 2020 IMI did have Ishan Kishan
yes.
coming to bat at 3.
Yeah.
Funny.
And winning streak in 2 ICC tougher or winning IPL without dropping any
Latter.
match? Really?
How do you win an IPL without dropping any match? 16 matches on the trot.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because you can
Too
go
tough.
ahead and win the T20 World Cup, winning 9 matches on the trot, na?
2? He's saying 2 T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
No, but a winning streak or a winning streak in 2 ICC. That's what India have done. No, they've won back to back. That is still easier as opposed to winning
Because
one
India has
IPL.
done it. Now it seems easier. Before India had done it, no other country had done that.
Australia 2003, they'd won it unbeaten, right?
No.
They lost a game in
What?
2003.
No, saying back
Oh,
to
back to
back.
back. Yeah, back to back. Forget about it.
But that's what I'm saying. India has done it, so now you're saying it's easy.
My point is, one team has done it. No team has won an IPL without dropping a match. And this is the 19th edition. So, again, the problem is 14 group games. Those 14 group games makes it impossible
And
for
now
you to.
you got things like impact player and all of that.
It just swings the
Yeah,
momentum.
Momentum completely.
Yeah.
AJ.
Says that by that logic, Pakistan people working in TCS or Wipro in foreign countries should also be removed.
Yeah, good.
There are many people who earn directly from Indian companies, correct?
That is true.
correct.
There is no end to this.
What about Indian companies that own offices abroad? You're not hiring people based on their nationalities.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's true.
Correct.
AJ, you don't only troll us for being late, you raise some pertinent points as well.
Yeah.
Mm. Ashish Dhar says, assume India hosts FIFA
Arey,
World Cup
yeah.
in 2042. Will India play?
Of course.
If they host, then they qualify by default, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, not happening. It can though. FIFA, they give World Cups based on other criterias other than being good in football.
Do we have that other criteria?
Of course we do.
will.
If certain parties want it,
Then it can happen.
that's the only way, na.
Mm.
I mean, technically, we're
We
looking
learned
at.
it very recently, right? It didn't happen too fast.
No. I'm saying no. Because looking at FIFA's history,
Huh.
I'm saying, no, you still need that one very important thing.
You thought Sepp Blatter was bad and Infantino came.
Infantino is like, he raised the bar of being terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely raised the bar. Gave a peace prize to a man who's now causing wars everywhere.
A football organization comes up with a peace prize.
Imagine.
Try making sense of that.
Exactly. Ashish Dhar asks again, the likes of Raina, Raidu, UV not playing SA20 or BBL because they're retired. That's why. Plus, they'd probably make more money in Legends League anyway.
No, plus, let's be honest, I don't think they're up to scratch anymore.
No, not
And
now.
it's a fact.
These are proper leagues you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have been playing. In fact, some of them have even stopped playing Legends League and all because they're realizing that
Body.
The
yeah,
rigors.
body and you've lost that high hand-eye coordination. You're not really in the flow of things. At that level, you can't survive. So,
No, not at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, even someone like I think Robin Uthappa retired so that he could play, but he also quickly realized that it's not easy playing those leagues. You have to be on top of your game to be playing that.
Correct.
And nobody would do that while you have a chance to play for the IPL. It's only when you're done with the IPL would you want to play. Forget, I'm not even getting too far. Someone like an Ashwin's also opted out, who was still very recently playing the IPL. So I'm assuming if there is a player who would be just fit enough or good enough to be playing those leagues, it'll be him. But he also opted out.
No, he signed a deal
I know,
for
but then
BBL, but then
pulled
got
out.
injured. He got injured. He had to go to surgery.
So
That's the main thing.
no one. Which was that? Was that the ILT20 or something?
ILT20 didn't get picked. He set his base price impossibly high.
Very high.
Horribly high. There he was never going to get picked. But BBL, he had gotten a deal with Sydney Thunder, I think it was. And then he pulled out because he was bowling in the nets and his knee gave out. Too much YouTubing.
AJ says if India goes to the final of the World Cup 27, India will play 13 matches, that is equivalent of IPL in 50 over format. Will players be able this much fatigue? Yeah. Come on.
I don't think it'll be that much of a problem.
And I think World Cups are slightly more easier. They still give you that much gap compared to IPL. IPL is relentless, just doesn't stop.
And because it's not just you're playing 2 games a week minimum, but traveling. It's very tough because again, you're taking flights. Sometimes if you're playing in Mumbai, then you're traveling to Kolkata. Good luck. The
Agreed.
flights part is intense also. The travel. It's mad.
Yeah. We'll take Mikey King when we get to MI.
Yes.
Before that, Steve Ticolo says, Nixa, that's why I advise you to invest in US market. Dive into primary market itself. Don't invest in tertiary market, which get influenced by US markets. Good point. Steve, you're a financial genius. He
get
knows
behind the
credit
bull.
cards, he knows this, that, he knows brands, he knows investment.
Yeah.
He must be a rich man, I think.
Yeah.
Steve Ticolo.
As an Infinia, na, you were saying.
He is, I think, one of those rich traders sitting in Kenya. Since he's taken a Kenyan name, no? Some Indians in Kenya are like super duper rich. Yeah.
Correct.
He's one of those, it seems like. Supremely.
Yash Shinde addresses something to me saying, Shane, you need a geopolitics lesson. Don't shout without knowledge. Why India is selling to Bangladesh? You need bigger lens, study and then bark. First off, you can
No,
be
but
more
I
polite.
don't entertain such comments. I
No,
think
that's
the
fine, that's
use
fine.
use of language I don't appreciate.
I
People
don't either.
I don't mind him contradicting, which is fair
which is
enough.
fair.
Yeah, but not the language that he's using. If this is the language you're going to use, Yash, whatever, no, don't ask. Please be dignified in the language that you use, and you can counter him. That's absolutely fine. Otherwise, don't. I'm not. This is not.
And by the way, I know
We're not
why
here.
they do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we're not here. You're not a subscriber who's paying us a
Salaries.
monthly wages. If you are not interested, please, but don't use such language. I'm sorry. We don't use it. There are people who are critical of us a lot of times. I don't shout back or show them their place. I can say a lot of mean things, but don't. That's fine. Yeah.
King 007 Dropper, I've ignored Praneeth because quite frankly we'll take his in the MI11. He says Virat averages 77 in ODIs in South Africa at a strike rate of 90 with 300s. Rohit averaging 18 at a strike rate of 68 in ODIs in South Africa. Your thoughts on this stat in the 2027 scheme? I think it'll be irrelevant.
I think form is going to matter much more than
Exactly.
what history suggests with regards to a certain.
But how would you even look past a Virat Kohli in ODI cricket?
even Rohit Sharma. I know he had one
But
bad
because
series.
he gave the example of Virat. That's why I'm talking about it. How do you anyway look past him?
You can't. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Both,
You pick past
I'm
him.
going to pit both of them together
Yeah.
in this. Same breath, I'll talk about Australia. He scored plenty of runs. The following series, Rohit was the pick of the series over there. Then there was Virat, the pick of the series. I know Rohit didn't have a very good last ODI series, but that's completely
Okay.
fine. Completely fine.
King 007 Dropper once again says, why do ex-cricketers keep taking a dig at Virat's milestones, superstar status, fan followings, etc.? Feel like Dhoni, Virat and Sachin are the most secure. Others just aren't on the same level. Don't they
But
get it?
who are the cricketers who are taking?
I mean, it's not... Gambhir has been talking a lot about milestones. Don't celebrate milestones.
No, he's talking about dig at superstar status and fan following. That.
Yeah, but I mean, Dhoni, Virat, Sachin, there in terms of superstar status, I would agree with him.
No, but they are taking dig at Virat.
Yeah, because I think the milestone thing comes more from Gambhir in recent times.
It's
It's in every interview ever, including ours.
yeah.
No, but even Sky and all was saying now that this is a team that doesn't look at
Milestone.
Yeah, everyone's been saying. See, again, I'm also looking at it. Okay, why do we? See, there is a fact that maybe, let's be honest, maybe this is something that they have inculcated in terms of culture. I do see that there is a bit of a change in this Indian team.
True.
And if they've consciously spoken about it and brought about that change, then maybe they're not always taking a dig. I don't know.
It could very well just be saying, look, we're trying to change this about ourselves. Yeah. That's fair.
Steve Ticklo's, he's just made a random.
MI owns
Owns
RCB. We'll take your comment as well after we're done with our analysis. But we're just finishing other subjects and then we'll take, there are 3-4 good questions on MI. But we'll do our analysis of MI, then take those questions. We've got 2 more, right? Which are, so Steve Ticola says, still remember old cricketers standing in Habibi clothes with Pak cricketers in Dubai accepting. Correct. That's is a point. Steve
got a good
Ticola
point.
makes a point. Yes. Not only investment advice, giving us cricketing advice as
He's
well.
giving us double standards advice also.
Ashish Dhar is saying is Rohit Sharma best T20 captain across franchise leagues. Good one. But there's an MS Dhoni.
That's the thing. MS has taken them to 10 finals.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
close.
close shout. It's a
It's
close
close.
shout.
Yeah.
It's worthy of a dugout.
Actually, that can be about 1 or 2 days before. Yeah. Why
we
not?
can do it. Okay, let's dive into the Mumbai Indian analysis. First, let's quickly take a look at where they finished last season. So, as you all know, they finished in the top 4 just about, won the first eliminator, but lost the qualifier to Punjab. And then it was Punjab
Please
and
don't
RCB.
remind Harshit how it is they qualified.
Yeah. Just don't.
Remind us.
Hey, I still remember it was that Santner, that wicket that he took off Karun Nair. Yeah, India were going so strong in that particular match.
India? You mean
DC were going so strong in that particular match. It was on 95 or something, Karun Nair at that time. That one wicket and the whole match then just toppled India.
Like many matches for Delhi.
Like many matches for Delhi.
Good position,
good.
topple.
But yeah, both the times again Mumbai Indians. I think you won the other one, but yeah, that loss to Mumbai that first game because
just at the end of the group stage. I remember because that match was practically a decider.
Yeah.
It was like whoever wins that match makes the top 4 because the top 3 had already been set. So the last spot was MIDC and DC proceeded to do just DC things.
very disappointing.
He
it
had
was.
8 points from 4 games and then in the rest 10 you picked up 7. Woeful.
If I actually look at MI's last season, it's always good to see the last season. I think, the biggest problem was, like most season, they were late starters and those losses really hurt them. Eventually, they again did Mumbai things and qualified for the top 4. But then because you qualified 4, you had to go through that tough route of making it. And as you know, statistically, it's not possible, coming down from 3 and 4 and winning the title. I think that was their problem once again. That's something that they'll have to guard against this season, I think, MI.
It's been statistically done once.
I know, as SRH, I think.
2016.
Yeah. But that's one thing that MI will have to do, that, not necessarily they have to have a slow start and then catch up later. So I think they'll need to start well is something that they'll have to do, which they weren't doing last time. And I think they missed some spinners is what I can remember from last season. And for most teams, if I was to sum up their last season, for most teams, reaching qualifier 2, effectively being in the top 3 would be taken as a successful season. Ask Harshit about it, he'll take it as a successful season. But for MI, I think since the time you've not won the trophy, 2020 was the last trophy that they won. I think 6 years of a dry spell, and even the last season where they've played qualifier 2, I think overall will be looked at as a mixed bag season, more a failure than a success, because that's the high standard that MI have set. So with that in mind, they have a lot riding in this season, and once again, expectation will be nothing less than at least playing a final. I think that's the least that people expect from Mumbai. That's the legacy that they have. So will they play the final or not, or win the title or not, or be in the top 4? Those are the questions that we'll look at. But as is the norm, we try and make their 11. So yeah, let's get down to it. Who wants to do the honors?
I'll go.
Okay.
So I think openers pretty much write themselves. Rohit Sharma, obviously.
Yeah.
The other would be Quinton de Kock. I know there's a Rickleton who's competing, but the fact that Mumbai reached out to Quinton, told him to keep himself available.
To be in the auction, yeah.
He was pulling out of the auction, but I think the fact that they've kept him, and the fact that Rickleton, even in South Africa colours, has been usurped by de Kock as the opener. So I think it's going to be de Kock. So Rohit and de Kock are their openers, and de Kock will then also double up as their wicketkeeper. So that's done dusted as far as the openers are concerned.
Okay, before I go any further on the 11, what's the latest on Rohit Sharma, the impact player? Because last season we remember that Rohit was playing as an impact player. Is that something that we'll see this season?
No. Because again, even the head coach Mahela Jayawardene was speaking at an event earlier today, and he's made it very clear that this is not going to be happening. He said that last year he played because he was having some fitness issues. He's saying there were some teething fitness issues, so we had to use him as an impact player. But as he says, and we can show this to our family members, the focus this season is to keep him on the field as much as possible while making decisions based on team balance and match situations. On the field as much as possible means he's in the 11. He's not being subbed in or subbed out.
Also, if he did have fitness issues, the one thing that we've noticed about Rohit Sharma in the last few months, man, has he gone through a transformation or what?
Thanks to the current KKR head coach, ironically.
There are people still wondering. Yeah. He goes around meeting people, and there are people who ask him where's the rest of him.
I know. Supremely fit.
He is. Let's give it to him. We've seen him dive around the way we've not seen him dive around for 10-15 years now, I would say. So this is a supremely fit Rohit Sharma. Look at the picture that he posted the other day as well.
Maldives.
He's really enjoying things.
Okay. So people actually mistaking him for Shreyas Iyer.
Who's a supremely fit
guy. Yeah.
People
that's
have
a compliment.
People have dug out some old image of Virat Kohli having exactly struck the same pose, looked like another beachy sort of location only, and then both looking very, very similar in terms of that photo looked like. People have done that comparison.
Well done to Rohit. So okay, that's established. Then he's not going to be an impact sub. He of course opens in that regard. Then yes.
Then 3-4-5 writes itself, doesn't it? Tilak, Sky, Hardik.
Yeah.
India's 3-4-5. Mumbai Indians 3-4-5. Done, dusted.
Not India's 3-4-5. Now Ishan came.
Ishan also came. But I mean, ideally, in a you could say that okay, this is a similar middle order, and Hardik Pandya then slots in at 5.
It's sort of almost like what you would say for Barcelona in the 2008-9 time, and more so for Spain. Those are there in the 11. Just have those 8 players there. Iker Casillas is one player who
Sergio Ramos
and Ramos the other. That's it. The rest, everything's the same.
No, then the third, there was Fernando Torres who would lead the line.
Villa at times you would start with as well.
And then Torres would come in. Yeah, that was this thing. So these 3 sorted. Now, see, 6, 7, 8 was where it took some time because we were trying to make an 11. But I think, Naman Dheer was someone who they had high hopes from last season.
Yeah.
Bit of a mixed season in IPL, but he's had a good SMAT. I think got 270 odd runs and was striking it at 150.
An average of about 33, I think.
Yes. So, some number 6, then Naman Dheer has to be there. I think Mitch Santner kind of writes himself but at number 8.
Yeah.
The number 7 was one where I had a couple of doubts, but I think we can debate this quickly. Is it going to be Rutherford or is it going to be Will Jacks?
It has to be Will Jacks. If I'm using the legacy slot.
Yeah. No, but also it'll also look at the balance, because both bring different things in the
exactly. Table. Rutherford will give you some dibbly-dobblies.
Yes.
So Will Jacks will give you off spin. But I think considering the way their team is, you've got Naman Dheer as an all-rounder, you've got Hardik, and you've got Bumrah, Bolt. I don't think you need a Shofin.
And also in terms of form and what Will Jacks has been doing.
Exactly.
Eyes closed. He has to be.
He won 3 man of the matches at number 7.
He's actually won 4 in all in the T20 World Cup. 4 man of the match awards. And I think what happens with MI and why I'm also going with the Will Jacks is because with Hardik, he was typically a finisher for India. Here he bats at a much higher batting position.
Correct.
They will need a finisher, sort of a batter. Namandir might do it, but they also need another guy to really back them up. And I think what Will Jacks was doing at the T20 World Cup, he'll have to be looked at. And another reason why I love Will Jacks, I think the weakest area for MI is still remains their spinners.
Yes.
I know they've tried to, get a few in, but spinning is their weak area, and if you can get a Will Jacks, you can use him against left-handers, though he did well against right-handers as well, speaking of wickets and his batting form. I think it's a no-brainer. So
then remove Shofin, Rutherford, and number 7 is Will Jacks.
Absolute clarity.
And then number 8 also, I don't think there's any debate, Mitch Santner. Thankfully not as a captain, so you can't
but you know what, I am a massive fan of Santner, massive fan, but Mitch Santner disappoint me at this T20
But he won't be captain.
He won't be captaining, That's the one saving grace.
And by the way, as a bowler as well,
he didn't bowl
truth be
himself enough.
told, actually, we had our man, the man from Rachin Ravindra, out-bowl him.
Yes.
Rachin Ravindra
And
out-bowl
that's
him as a left-arm spinner.
And that's despite the fact that Santner is the captain. So he can in theory choose to bowl himself.
No. I think the Santner, the bowler also did not look, he was decent in parts, but bowler also didn't look as menacing as he can be, or as menacing as he would look for New Zealand previously, or on occasions for Chennai, or on occasion for Chennai when he used to be called in. So I'm not sure about Santner, but you guys have him. Okay, let's do the rest of the 11.
The other alternative would be Allah Ghassan, sir, in that role.
He's also had a patchy.
He's raw. My problem with
and he doesn't make sometimes the Afghanistan 11.
Exactly.
A lot of times he doesn't make the 11.
I mean, they have mystery spinners for fun, so hence that's why I put Santner.
Starting with Santner for the experience, and of course, you will have to put aside all his faux pas as a captain that he made, and he was a wily customer for them in the previous edition as well. So you're starting this season with him for sure.
Okay, and number 9, this is another place where I was not sure. So are you going Deepak Chahar or are you going Shardul Thakur? I know my choice.
See, I think this is a no-brainer. Deepak Chahar will start.
Really?
I don't, because he will start. See, you could play both.
You could.
Yes, there is a possibility that you could play both. I don't think that MI is starting without Deepak Chahar.
I think Mumbai matches you're definitely starting, because see,
let's
not forget you've got a Hardik Pandya, so a Bolt with a Bumrah and Hardik, so your 12 overs are sorted of pace. You'll need about another 8 and you'll have...
But let's not forget Deepak Chahar is a decent bat as well.
Yeah.
He is.
That's why I actually paired them together, because again, similar role. Both will bowl in the power play, both can give you a bit of batting.
Do I really need batting at 9? At times I will. Any amount of batting is good, right? But I think Mumbai, especially venue, etc., I think you have Jasprit Bumrah as your insurance policy.
Okay. Let's put Jasprit Bumrah then, because you talk about it. So we get 11 and 10 done.
Are Trent Bolt and Jasprit Bumrah.
Okay, so they are your show shot players that you get. And this, remember, as we always do in our analysis, we pick the batting 11.
Yes.
And so your 12th man is always a bowler who you bring as an impact sub in the second inning. So, see, I don't know. I doubt that. I mean, is there a way you can bring in, as I was saying, I know you'll need a spinner. You've got a Will Jacks.
No, the only spinner you have, wrist spinner in the team is Mayank Markande, and he has to be your impact sub, because you don't have a wrist spinner beyond him. Ghazanfar is a mystery spinner.
When they do the auction, this was the one hole they wanted to plug.
But they got Markande, who didn't play a game for KKR last year.
They didn't have a lot of options, or if there were, then you had those bids reach about, remember, they didn't have a lot of purse as well.
Yeah, and they tried bidding for Rahul Chahar, but then got significantly outbid. Markande, they got on the cheap because KKR had picked him at base
all these guys, they were just out of their budget.
Yeah.
Markande,
Cam Green.
Markande is all that they could manage.
Yeah, I
So-
think once again, what you see in this lineup is you're lacking good spinners.
Yes, you are.
That's why
Undoubtedly.
Mitch Santner would have to play, and because of that, you're having actually to leave out some good players that will sit out. Like Corbin Bosch had a decent outing. He sits out. He's been in some good form. Then Ryan Rickleton, I would still try and look at having him in the team somehow. If I could have got a Mitch Santner out by getting an Indian spinner, but
You don't have an Indian
yeah.
spinner. Your
Mayank
Indian spinner is
Markande
Mayank.
is there.
But then he'll be your impact sub. I think
Yeah.
he'll be the clear and obvious impact sub swap. So I think in that case, done dusted. Your number 12 is Mayank Markande.
Yeah.
And for 2 years now on the trot, maybe longer, MI's biggest weakness looks their spin department.
Yeah. But that's the thing again. Quality risk spinning options in a mini auction. You knew that they'll be outbid because their purse is something you knew what it would look like.
Yeah.
After those releases were
See,
made.
in all of this, somewhere you'll have to look at, I don't know, bringing another batter in. Because just look at the amount of, by the way, just look at the amount of bowling options that I'm seeing. Hardik Pandya, Naman Dheer, Will Jacks, Mitch Santner, Deepak Chair, Trent Bolt, Jasprit Bumrah, Mayank, 8 bowling options.
Not everyone will bowl
Yeah,
4
exactly.
overs
Naman Dheer, I'm not primarily looking at somebody who I'll need in every match.
as a bowler.
Yeah, as a batter, I will definitely need him much more. And if Deepak Chahar is coming in at number 9, I think this is as deep
Batting
a batting lineup as I'd want. And Deepak Chahar at number 9, you're taking that. Many teams will not have somebody of Deepak Chahar's credibility as a semi batter also at number 9.
True.
No, he's a decent batter. I think you can. Mitch Santner, by the way, had a better time with the bat than ball in
the World Cup,
World
yeah.
Cup. So he's
And even
batting
there, he was
great.
mostly coming in 8.
Yeah.
So, huh.
I will remove Naman Dheer and Tilak Verma at number 6 and push everyone a place up.
But then who comes in place of?
No, that's too radical. We have to make a more. Tilak Verma at 6 is not happening. Sir.
It happened for
That's
India because you
Yeah,
needed, you
because
had no choice.
you had that option and that kind of firepower. Not here. It's not happening. Tilak Verma is not going to 6.
Thakur.
Shardul, no, maybe.
You don't. There is 8 bowlers. You don't need a bowler. You need a batter.
No, Shardul will
if you-
play. I think after the first 5-6
that's your-
games he'll play.
No,
Because
you're
Deepak
going.
Chahar will get injured. No?
You are going exactly the opposite of what they should be doing. Actually, getting a batter. That's why I said in a way, ideal scenario, I'd want to get a Rickleton in as well. But if I can drop a fast bowler, I think that's what you need. Your bowling options are just way too many. Too many bowling options.
But again, if you drop a Trent Bolt, no,
Yeah.
you can't.
You will need a Santner as well. I'm just saying who is it that you can drop.
See, Santner and Jacks are not that kind who will give you 4 overs every game. 2, maybe 3, 4 if they're having a phenomenal day. Their problem actually is that they don't have a wrist spinner. There's not a single wrist spinner. Even if I bring in a Ghazanfar, I'm compromising because again, he's still raw. He's still raw. I know he has good stats and we'll delve on those in just a bit. But how do you fit him in then? Then you're fitting him in and trying to build the team around him.
Your wrist spinner.
Wrist spinner,
Who's been having a torrid season. Third time in the IPL. 23, I remember he was his last decent season. 24, he didn't have a good year for SRH.
But I don't think Mumbai really have an option to start with anyone
No, they don't.
else but
They don't.
I was
You'll
pretty
have to.
surprised that they did not.
Purse was a problem for
Yeah,
them.
purse was a
was a
problem.
big problem for them.
Yeah, Purse was their issue because they didn't release too many players
Well,
and
that's
they did
what-
trades.
maybe that's what they
Ironic
should
that
have.
we're talking about the franchise and lack of money, but
Yeah.
Irony, but still, the rules exist for a reason.
Okay, it is what it is. Looks like the common consensus. Of course, you can make minor changes, and I'm sure those of you who are watching may have a few suggestions when it comes to this as well. Okay, that brings me to the other aspect that we look at the young players. Okay, so who have we got that you can watch?
See,
out?
so
Ghazanfar.
Allah Ghazanfar, we know, is not too much of a young gun, though he's young.
He's very young,
because
but
he's
he's
been
got
there
experience.
in international cricket. We all know what he does, so we all know what he offers. So nothing that we will tell you here is going to surprise you, other than the fact that he's got international experience, and on occasions has been expensive and has been made to sit out by Afghanistan.
Also, Ken is a surprisingly decent batter. Can wield the long willow. He's got a 30-40 odd in some ODI games. So he can. I mean, I think the potential is there that he could become like a
I was looking
Rajat.
at his T20.
No, his T20 numbers are not
T20
great.
numbers with the bat
They're
are
not great.
something you don't want to look at.
They're not great. I think the one who I'm very interested to look out for, don't know if he'll play, is Mohammad Salahuddin Izzar. He's a
Yeah,
Bihar-
they've got this one guy that they got in the auction.
Yes,
in
he
that
was
limited
one of the
price.
few people that they managed to buy with the peanuts they had. But he is an exciting one. He's a left-arm pacer, idolizes Mitchell Stark, and I don't think he can bowl at the same speed, but obviously would have learned a few things watching him. Had a decent SMAT. 5 games he played for Bihar, got 9 wickets at an economy of 7.11. So he's been good. He's definitely been good even for Bihar. I mean, this is the same team the way we always look at, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, what is he going to do? He's been decent.
See, otherwise I would have said that probably this will be a season where he'll just be used to observe and,
Yes.
walk around. Most teams would do it. But because it's MI, you never know. MI have had this in the past as well, that they like to get these youngsters and then throw them in the deep end.
See if
and
they
then
can
they
sink or
see,
swim.
yes. And they have gotten match winners like that by trying these youngsters and throwing them in the deep end straight away. So possible because he's gone to MI. Who knows, because you're looking at those options. I know they start with Trent Bolt because he's not playing a lot of active international cricket. If he seems a bit rusty, you can always get an Indian fast bowler, and then let's see what he does. That opens up, a slot to maybe get a Rickleton or someone
Yes,
in the
they
top
could.
order alongside a Quinton
Or
I
a
don't know.
Gazanfar. Then suddenly
Yeah.
that one foreign slot opens up, then you've got options.
Yep.
You have
There is
options.
another way of opening up that foreign slot, I was thinking.
Which
You
is?
can get in a Minge as well.
Robin Mins, but I don't know.
Opening, I don't quite, know if that will be his strong suit. I think 3-4 is something that he would like. But again, we've seen these things happen in the IPL where a couple of positions here. You made Abhishek Porel play almost every position possible in the batting order. Again, no great example to cite, but we've seen that happen. And if this is just about giving a break, because Robin Minge was another player, the moment you mentioned about
Explosive,
young players being thrown into the deep and all, he's hardly done anything for MI yet, but this may just be the season. You remember the promise that he came with?
Yeah.
I
a couple
think
of-
he's not coming in from a good domestic season as well. I remember
He's
reading
been
that.
struggling domestically.
Yeah.
He had that bad accident also,
Accident.
though, then got ruled out of the IPL. I think GT had picked him that year, right? Yes, it was GT who had picked him that year.
First season.
Yeah, so he's also had that reputation kind of follow him. His form is nosedive, but there's a good player there.
Yeah.
Who knows if MI can be that team to finally unlock something?
Good. Okay, what are the challenges that await MI? The weaknesses.
One big one which we kept talking about, look, lack of
Glaring.
wicket-taking wrist spinners. They just, I'm sorry, Markande was good for MI in 2016. I think that was the year. Or no, it was 2018. And then in 2019, he got replaced by Rahul Chahar. That has been the peak of both of their careers. It tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. Or was it 2019 and 20? I don't remember. It was one of those years. But Markande
sorry,
hasn't found the same groove since.
Siddharth will grossly disagree with the second point that we're about to show to our viewers, which is Kai's form, because if Siddharth was here, he'd remind everyone 7 games at the 1K form is not a concern.
But
No, which is fact. And by the
But
way,
his IPL form last year wasn't something you had to worry about.
yeah, incredible. Made that record, most 40 plus scores, most
Scores,
consecutive
yeah.
40.
700 odd runs, I think he got.
He did. I guess, see, it all changes his role as a captain in the Indian team and what he needs to execute vis-a-vis him being a player for MI. I think that changes it. I agree. Half the games will be in Wankhede, a ground which he absolutely loves and thrives on. So that will be different. But I know that eyes will be on him because he's been under scrutiny from the World Cup onwards when it comes
Prior
to
to that
the,
even.
yeah.
I mean, he had a bad year from the second half of 2025. And he was entering the World Cup with question marks, with people saying he's only playing because he's the captain.
Plus, I think for Hardik Pandya as well, big test because they got him as captain, big fanfare. Finished with the wooden spoon in that first
Fanfare?
year. Yeah.
Boo!
No, I mean from the franchise's point of view.
Fair.
But that also I don't know how much of it was manufactured or how much the fans really dislike him. I don't know. But my point is that that first season finished with a wooden spoon. Second season did much better, reached the top 3. That sense, but I think this will be a defining season. Nothing less than a trophy satisfies them.
I doubt Hardik's getting another season if this one's anything less than a trophy. Yeah.
Wait, so you'll remove Hardik as captain and then force him out of the franchise because the only reason he came back is the captaincy.
Again,
corporate world.
We've seen this with elite franchise.
Listen, if he's
a
available for
Rohit Sharma,
captaincy,
if they can do that to a Rohit Sharma who won them all the titles that they have,
yeah, but then his form with the bat had been tapering.
I don't think the decision was just about his personal form.
No,
this
it
was
played
about
a part.
This was about how they wanted to take the franchise forward and who they felt was that blue-eyed boy of Indian cricket, which Hardik Pandya at that point was. He was, remember, captain of India also, though the story changed completely. But Hardik Pandya, I don't think of franchise, because I do remember last time around there was a Jasprit Bumrah, there was Suryakumar Yadav as well. Those conversations were held with all of them when that analysis of the first horrible season that he had, and everyone's captaincy ambitions were heard. Suryakumar Yadav was number one in making the franchise know about his captaincy ambition. So they know that there are a couple of people who are waiting in the wings already. And for how long does a franchise with that kind of success really go season after season without winning the title?
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right, because if Hardik Pandya comes up in a mega auction or is signed by any team, he's in for a big payday. At that point, he won't care what badge is there.
Yeah. I agree with you.
He would need that. He's got a new Ferrari. He would need a big payday anyway to replenish his finances. Okay, that takes us to the big question. Are they a top 4 team?
Undoubtedly. The team they have.
This is another interesting bit. Sorry, I didn't touch upon this.
Yeah, this is their biggest record, which I, as a Kolkata Knight Riders fan, say is ending this year, because they've gotten the one team who they have the absolute wood over, which is us. So if they don't break it this year, it's not breaking for a long, long time.
So they've not won an opening game since 2012.
Yeah. 2012 was the last time they won an IPL opening game. I've had MI fans in my DMs tell me, sir, congrats on your first win. And I'm like, how are you guys this confident? I'm not. Because I saw that and I'm like, why? Why them? Why them? The team that shall not be named. I don't want them. Of course, if KKR can beat them, then it's always a good sign. 2014.
So even though they are up against your team,
I'm still confident.
You believe that jinx will be broken.
I think it will be broken this year. If it's not, see, this is the year we find which jinx is worse. KKR versus MI or MI versus opening games. Which is the worst jinx? You're finding it out.
Okay, now to the question. Are they a top 4 team?
Undoubtedly. The only thing which they need to do is this year, instead of top 4, finish top 2. That pretty much guarantees them a title in my book, because they have a lot of players who know how to win, and that experience is priceless. They too have, again, the likes of Sky, the likes of Bumrah, the likes of Rohit, Hardik have all been there. Even a Bolt, Quinton have all been there in those glory years of MI where they were winning titles every alternate year. If they reach the top 2, they are your champions. Simple as.
Wow, big prediction.
Can you imagine with how much gritted teeth I have to say it, but I'm analyzing it as fact.
Undoubtedly, if it was very easy, it's the only second team that we are analyzing here in the studio. But chalk and cheese, the team that you had to call about yesterday and the team that we are analyzing, if it was, look at the squad, look at the 11. If it was easy for KKR to say, for one to say that maybe they're not, with them looking like a very good unit. Again, starts, and in fact, not just the first game, as Shane pointed out, those slow starts have been their biggest
for 4 or 5 games.
Pain point. They just, they're like that bear that loves his sleep. Will get up for sure, will make a lot of noise, will absolutely wreak havoc, but it'll take those 5-6 games. If they can get their act together in the first 5-6 games, don't win all 5. Win the first 2 out of the first 4, and you're set. The tone is set for MI. They just leave too much. They ask that bear to then suddenly climb the Everest. The bear will only go so far if you're asking the bear to climb the Everest. So
the bear has climbed Everest like that 5 times and is probably tired. You have to be fair.
So the bear is also aging now. But so be mindful of that. And Mumbai Indians, teams have to be wary of them.
Will they make the top 4? I mean, it's always fraught with danger when I haven't had a closer look at all other teams. We've only seen a couple of teams that we've analyzed very closely. So I'm not that informed that I can, say, because again, it's not always about how good you're looking at, but in relative to what other teams are looking. But even then, from top of my head, whatever we can look at this team, I think they are a top 4 team. They should make top 4. But are they looking like a title winning team to me? Not at the moment. I'm not that enthused about it being a title-winning team. However, as I said, by the time we get closer to the IPL and we do our big preview, I think I'll be far more informed. But right now, yeah, top 4 team, but not the best team, at least to my mind so far. You guys let us know what would be your ideal 11, whether you'd want to make any changes to the one we've picked, any out of the box ideas, and where do you think this team is going to finish in the IPL in the comment section. We'd love to hear that. But meanwhile, let's hear what you've got to say now.
Yeah.
Let's see what are the MI questions we had. Yes.
Yeah. This we'll start with Mikey King. He was the first one. He says Mumbai Indian lineup looks strong after 5 years of decline. Mahila has adopted different strategy approach and team will display excellence on field. Relax to ready.
No, he says relax. Row is ready. So he's talking about a relax Rohit Sharma.
Well, I mean, he could have a season-defining.
I mean, last year was his best season in ages. He got like 400 odd runs. That was his best season in ages. Otherwise, I had gotten used to seeing Rohit get 250 runs with 100 of those runs coming against KKR. That used to happen.
Yeah.
He loves playing in Eden Garden, no? So, okay, now you've got Praneeth Datta who has given his 11. He's saying Rohit and then QDK/Rickleton. Okay. Tilak, Surya, Hardik, Naman, Will Jack, Santner, Deepak Chahar, Ghazan for Bumrah. Oh, you've dropped
Trent Bolt.
Yeah. Impact Ramandeep? Who?
Which Ramandeep?
Ramandeep is in KKR, buddy.
Yeah.
What Ramandeep?
I think he means Namandhi.
But no, Naman is there in the 11. There is no Ramandeep.
Naman's batting at number 6, yeah.
I think we'll need to revisit
5,
your impact player, my friend. But otherwise, fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's see. MI owns RCB. Ooh, it says it's that time of the day for you guys where you need to bow down to the undisputed god of IPL, Lord MI. I hope none of you are RCB fans because we're going to make it hell. None of us are RCB fans. That much I can confirm for you. But other than that, no.
Yeah. There may be one who silently roots for them. I don't know.
Let's see. Shiva K says, love the work by Sports Today team. Insightful analysis, honest discussions. Never seen you guys peddle agendas and pass borderline comments on players. Very dignified with your humor, the best in the business. Shiva, thank you so much. We love actually hearing such things. Let's see. Steve Tickler says, is Rohit Sharma's position fixed in 11? He's been the poorest IPL opener last 10 years. 0 450 run season, 2 400 season. How long a rope does he have now? I mean, considering he's won them 5 titles, he has as long a rope as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's the fittest version that Mumbai will be getting of Rohit Sharma.
Exactly. Correct. AJ says, you want to read it? Go ahead.
Yeah, he says that, sir, Sam Billings talked about hookah in Mahendra Singh Dhoni's room in the IPL. As you were friend of him, how often would he do the hookah and all players talk about it?
I don't.
Do you
want
have
to
any
talk
insight?
about. Of course, I have insight, but I don't want to share insights. But I did see AJ. I did see that clip of Sam Billings talking about it. He was all praise for MS, and then in the end mentions that
it's so everyone's seen plenty of those hookah videos now. Anyway,
he said no. He said he keeps a guy whose job is only to be keeping that ready.
Yeah.
That's what Sam Billings said in that clip. But he said he was a big admirer of MS.
He's saying no one has to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Samajh jao. Sridhar Savarkar says Shane Sky's average of 21 in 12 innings versus Senap in that's Pakistan included in T20 World Cup with 150 compared to Virat who averaged 55.76 with 8 50s in 90 innings proves Sky hasn't stepped up in big games. Okay. Fair.
Senap.
That's new.
Senap.
Well, the alternative was...
You add 2 more names over there, that's the whole cricketing universe.
Well, he could...
Two more...
there are other ways of rearranging that anagram which would not make it very polite, so I'll not do it. Mikey King says, he's named his 11, goes Jax, Naman, Santner, Thakur, Bolt, Jasprit Bumrah, 12 players, Markande, Jack's not performed in 5 matches, Rutherford in, Deepak to sit out. MI will win.
If Jack doesn't perform, then he brings
Rutherford. Yeah. I mean, both of them bowl pretty much the same pace. So.
What did you say after that? Boom 2 in
Boom, or what do you call, if you're having
purple cap.
Boom 2 in points table. So he expects that Bumrah will get the purple cap and they'll finish second.
Oh.
And second, by the way, historically is the best position
Place
to
to
finish.
be in.
Yes. Ashish Dar says Gigi's talking about milestones like government on anti-smoking. Oh God.
Okay, Pranit again says MI can play Gazanfar or Bolt. Spin will be a problem if Gazanfar doesn't play. Hardik captaincy was a big issue last year. 5 or 6 finish for me. See the point that he's trying to make, that you can bring in both Shardul and a Deepak Chahar and keep a Bolt out, which I don't think they will to begin with. But if you want to bring a spinner in, you can get a Kala Gazanfar in alongside Mitch Santner.
Correct. Pranit points out, by Ramandeep I meant Ashwini Kumar. Fair.
Okay.
Left arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know nothing. What a lovely username. Says in cricket, bowlers don't get to pick their custom-made ball. So why not batters, or let batters also choose their bat from a standard set of bat given for both teams? Wouldn't that make things more even?
Oh, it's interesting, but I'll tell you what, it's all about balance and how you feel. Some people like thick bottom, some people like it, that the weight to be there in the center a bit more. So it again, weight wise, 1130 grams, some 1150, 1170, it changes and it makes a huge difference. So I guess it's also batting styles, how people like.
Delhi fans remember it very well.
I don't think. I think you need to have a parameter within which you can
make
fine.
those bets.
I think which exists already.
And now it does. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess that's fine then.
Because I think there was a tweak in the rules that basically outlowed the mongoose bat. That's why you don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Also the width and all, they've put a regulation on that.
Yeah. You'll again see those temple like cutouts, na? The bats will be passed through it, as you saw in the previous IPL.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Divanshu Luthra says, problem with MIs: Rohit, lack of international cricket; Quinton de Kock, consistency; Tilak Verma, strike rate; Sky, international form; Hardik Pandya, Dubey outperformed him as a batter in World Cup, and that's one of two. So what's his second? Has he given a second? No, he's giving it probably.
Would it be?
Yeah, I mean, see that I agree. QDK consistency, that's
always
been his story.
And he's Sky's international form we discussed. Hardik, I think, still was pulling his weight either ways. I mean, I think he's still one of your match winners. I think he was man of the match in one of the games as well. So that's that. Saraj Chandra Yalamarti says, Nick sir, MI have a great core of 12 backups. I honestly think 6th is coming. Pandya as a captain. How Rohit fares are my worries. Naman at 3 is what I want. I see him as a future opener after Rohit.
And Sarat says this is an MI fan, by the way.
Okay, good point. Anshu Mishra says, Nick sir, I told you that players watch sports today. The best part was that 45-second clip when Sanju said, you were the ones who used to ask whether runs would be scored or not, in fun way. And Abhishek also. Yes, thank you for that, Anshu. Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan says, Nikhil bhai, just like you, I don't support any team in IPL. You are the best in the business. By the way, please tell lockdown kids Gigi doesn't take a dig. He says same thing from 2011. That's his follow. That I've said, Dave, previously as well, that I'll give credit where credit is due. And in Gautam's case, he's been consistent with his thought. Sometimes maybe it's not about the dig, but something that really, he subscribed to and wanted to bring about. Now that he had a chance, he's brought it. In fact, if he had done to the contrary, I would be critical of him, that used to keep saying this as a player. Now you're managing the team and then you are obsessed with it. So if he's taken that out, so be it.
And then there's one other way of looking at it, is that he talks about individuals not mattering, yet front, left, right, center, everywhere, all I've seen is Gambhir. So.
Yeah. Sanju spoke highly of him. Suryakumar Yadav is doing that.
Sky being a big fan is no surprise.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I'm saying it could be, there have been times I was just discussing, when I was giving that lecture today, somebody asked me all the story. I don't forget the time where Anil Kumble walked out of the Indian team. So it's not necessary that coaches,
Champions
captain.
Trophy.
Yeah, have a great relationship. So,
True.
in that sense.
And at that time, it was also about
No, but I'm saying whatever it is, it's not always good. No? There was a bit of a period where I think Rohit came on as captain and he said, "We'll see how this goes." When Gambhir was coach as well, so it's not necessary that the captain coach will always. That's taken for granted. It'll be great relationship. The fact that Sky has praised him, well then,
They've had a relationship for years prior. I think that's why it remains good.
yeah.
AJ is with a very tongue-in-cheek comment saying, I think this year in PSL, the man of the match will get a gas cylinder, because they used to give hair dryers last year. They'll come up with something like this year also.
Very naughty AJ. AJ, by the way the cylinder thing is going here, I'm nervous about it. I mean, there's so many reels I'm seeing on Instagram, exaggerated, of course, about cylinder, but they're funny, a lot of them. So, okay, last few comments we're going to take. Abhishek Ranjan says, Nick sir, are we unable to develop fast bowling all-rounders because of impact player rule? What will happen to us the day Hardik Pandya gets injured during? Very good point, Abhishek. And I've said this in the past as well. This impact player rule isn't great. Akib Nabi, I hope, is that next guy. I mean,
you've got an
becomes
Akib
a
Nabi,
genuine-
there's a Nitish Kumar Reddy who we know has the potential. He barely bowls. No, the problem is he barely bowls. He's not bowling enough, and one of the reasons is impacts up. Ramandeep Singh is another one, bowled a lot in the S mat. How much will KKR bowl him? I doubt too much. That's again.
Even Rashik Salam Dhar is another one.
Yes.
He's been good in patches and domestic.
Correct.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, and also to answer what will happen to us the day Hardik Pandya gets injured during an ICC event, you saw it in 23.
Yeah, you'll make 2 changes.
Exactly.
Divyanshu Luthra says,
It's continued on his comment now,
second part.
saying that Dheer is a youngster who has to prove himself. Jack's bowling, post power play, Santner wicket taking ability, Deepak and Markande, everything.
Everything about them worries
him.
Okay.
Bolt, same as Rohit Sharma, and Bumrah, when gets whacked, cannot make a comeback. But he rarely, if ever, gets whacked. That's also the thing with him.
Yeah.
Rarely.
I think this team doesn't really have as many problems as have been pointed out in the 2 comments.
Yeah, I mean, fans seem more worried than us.
Exactly. I don't know if this is just criticism or something against the franchise, or this is just a well-wisher of the franchise who's worried about all these holes that he sees in the team. I don't know.
Cobra Head says, Sunnyji is right, whereas the ICC is an international collective body, SRH is not. Cricketing logic, if is the reason, then they do it in the IPL given a chance. But I mean, why we keep mentioning ICC is because of the 100% of their revenue, 80% is India generated.
plus the other argument for that would be then, as BCCI said, okay, fine, you have all that. Sunrisers may be the owners, but it's Sunrisers Leeds is a different entity to Sunrisers Hyderabad, and they are playing in the 100. So if you make exceptions and you look at differently, so you're okay to give exception to the ICC, it's an international body. Somebody will say this is not an Indian league, it's 100.
Exactly.
It's run by ECB.
You've kind of
That
contradicted
way,
yourself over
yeah,
there.
that way there are many, ways you can look at it. Okay, Shakin PS says, Bolt and Chahar are past their prime. Santner is a defensive bowler. This solely depend on Bumrah. If Bumrah has a bad day, they're going to lose badly. Okay, valid point that he makes. Aditya Kavlekar says, disadvantage of having same coach for different teams for different format is one team likes you and the other may not. Good point. I know where you're hinting at. Sachin Kashyap has got his MI 12. He's got QDK, Rohit, Tilak, Sky, Dheer, Hardik, Jack, Santner, Chahar, Bumrah, Bolt, Markande / Rutherford. Exactly what we picked. So, he's got a similar 12. And finally, Sachin Tendulkar says, imagine Hardik leading T20 World Cup finalist captain Santner and Surya and MI. Does Surya not have IPL captaincy ambitions? I'm sure he does. But by the same logic, I'm sure Hardik had Indian captaincy ambitions. He didn't get that.
Yeah, very interesting this time.
किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, किसी को ज़मीं तो किसी को आसमान नहीं मिलता. In the words of our dear Sherry Paji. Okay, on that note, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, one we've got Priyanshu. He says, Nikhil sir, no point making playing 12 for MI. They will always look great on paper. Will they win would depend on team bonding and how Hardik manages other big players. Win or he will be removed. Good points. I think we touched upon that part as well. But you're right. Bonding makes a huge difference. Somewhere in the previous campaigns, that was one factor that did seem to be
24
missing.
for sure. They seem like a
Yeah,
fractured
they were a
unit.
disjointed unit in 24. You could see the things had improved in 2025. Let's see how 2026 is. Watch out for all those reels.
हार्दिक ने अब रोहित को T20 वर्ल्ड के जिता दिया स्काई को उसको
Okay. On that note,
It's time for vegetables. So yeah, we'll go.
take good care of yourselves. Bye bye. See you. Tomorrow
Shubhratri.
is another day, and which means it'll be another team.
Tomorrow's also full house over here. Yeah.
Maybe I'll take an off day then.
Okay. On that.
4 is a crowd.
Okay, then we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Perhaps we'll look at the Delhi Capitals tomorrow. Let's see. Watch out for the space. We'll put out a post few hours ahead of our scheduled time. It's 6:30 for tomorrow as well.
And then come late thereafter.
No, but tomorrow we'll try and be on time. So yeah, give us the opportunity tomorrow as well to entertain you, and yeah, keep showing us all your love as well. Time for us to depart. So good night, Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mother and subscribe to Sports Today.
Bye bye.
Bye. Don't trouble your mother and subscribe to Sports Today.
Bye bye.
Bye.